Hello, welcome to today's lecture. I am your instructor Vivek and I am going to teach you some very important concepts in Python today. In today's lecture, we are going to cover the data structures in Python. So, data, that is considerable fact. The information that is present around us, that is data. And structures are the structures that you can use to hold that data. Now, Python gives you some inbuilt data structures to hold different sort of data, like textual data, the text that you see in a newspaper or somewhere like that. You can hold that or represent that textual data in Python. You can hold integer data, that is whole numbers, positive or negative. You can represent that in Python also. Then there are other data types, like for numbers that have decimal points like 1.0, 2.0, 23.5. These numbers can be represented in Python as well. There are data types, there are data structures to represent true or false value. So whether something is true or whether something is false, you can represent that in Python also. Then there is data structure or data then there is data structure to hold collection of items. So you can have a collection of items and you can hold that data in Python also using. So there are many types of data structures in Python. So I'm going to start with the data structure string. So whenever you have some textual data in Python, in some textual data, you can represent that as a string object. So how? Using double quotation marks. So in Python, whenever some textual data is put inside the double quotation marks, so one quotation mark on the left side, one quotation mark on the right side. Whenever you put some textual data between double quotation marks, one here, on the left and on the right, that is a string object. So remember, in Python there is a string class, and whenever you put some textual data between two quotation marks, that becomes a string object. Okay, then you have a choice whether you want to enclose that data, textual data, in a single quotation mark, means single quotation mark on the left, single quotation mark on the right, or double quotation marks on both sides, or there is another option, triple quotation marks, where you can use triple quotation marks on the right side, triple quotation marks on the left side. So that is, Python gives you three options to do that thing. So you can use single quotation marks on both sides and your data would become a string object. Python interpreter would consider it as a string object when it sees that your data, textual data, is between two single quotation marks. Okay, single quotes. You can use double quotes to enclose that data also. No problem in that also. You can do the double quotation marks also. Then there is a triple quotation mark. Triple quotation marks on both sides. Triple quotation marks if your data, textual data, spans multiple lines. So you can't represent that using a single quotation mark or a double quotation marks. So to get the output of that data exactly as you want, you have to use the triple quotation mark. Triple quotes on the left side and triple quotes on the right side. Okay, so let me show you on the IDLE, Integrated Development Learning Environment in Python. Okay, so I have opened my IDLE and let us show you how we can make a string object. So here I am using a variable or identifier a. So identifier, what is an identifier? Identifier is a name for an object at some memory location. Okay, so what is identifier? Identifier is a name of identifier is a name given to an object at some memory location. So an identifier references to some object. Okay, an identifier refers to some object at some memory location. Okay, so identifier and variables, you can use both terms. Okay, identifier then an equals to, this is an assignment operator. So this means that this value, this identifier a refers to the object on the right side of the assignment operator. Okay, so I am making a string object here, hello world. Okay, so I am using single quotation marks, and this is valid in Python. This is a string object. You can make the same string object using double quotation marks, hello world. See, no problem here also. So you can use the double quotation marks for the object also. Now I told you that there is a triple quotation marks also. So you can, if your data spans multiple lines, so you can use triple quotation marks also. So Python is a very good programming language. It's very beginner friendly. Okay, now this statement I have put in triple quotation marks. I have used the double quotation mark, and here I have used the double quotes, and I have used 3 quotes on both sides. Okay, so the benefit of using this is that if your text spans multiple lines, so it can't be done on the interpreter. Let me show you in the new file. Okay, so I go to file and then I open a new file. In this file you can write the program, and then you can save it and run it. Okay, so let me show you. So a is the identifier here, and within triple quotation mark, Python is a beginner friendly language with very easy to read syntax. With very easy to read syntax, writing coding in Python is fun. Okay, and the closing quotation marks here, see here I have chosen to use the double quotes. You can also use the single quotes here. I would show you the example of single quotes also. Okay, so with this, if your statement, even if your textual data is spanning multiple lines, then also there is no problem. See, I have put Python is a beginner friendly language with very easy to read syntax on the first line, then I have left one line blank, and then on the third line I have put coding in Python is fun. See, now I am going to write a print statement. The print statement gives you the ability to output data to the console. So it is This is a function, inbuilt function, that has the ability so that you can instruct it to output some data. Okay, so whatever data you would put inside it, whatever valid, if it is a valid data, it would print it. Okay, it would output it to the console. So its sole motive of this function is of outputting data to the console. Okay, so Python is a beginner friendly language with very easy to read syntax. Coding in Python is fun. This is on multiple lines and we want it to print like this. Okay, with the spaces and everything intact. So let me save it. So I am going to save it with first.py. .py is the extension of Python files. Okay, so you have to remember to save your files with .py extension, otherwise the Python interpreter would not be able to run it. Okay, so save it. After saving it, you can go to run and run module, or you can press F5. Okay, so you can see it printed Python is a beginner friendly language with very easy to read syntax, and then it printed a empty line, and then on the third line coding in Python is fun. So everything accordingly as we instructed in this file. Okay, so everything worked accordingly. If we use a triple quotation mark, but this time we are using single quotes instead of double quotes, so we can do that also. So save it. After saving it, we can press F5. So F5, you can see that the result is same. So it is your choice whether you want to use the double quotation here or single quotation or single quotation marks. Okay, single quotes. Now let me show you some more things. So let me close this. Okay, here. Now the question comes, why there are three types of quotes? Why there is a triple quote on both sides? Why there is a double quote? Why there is a only single quotation mark? When to use only single quotes on both sides? When to use double quotes on here, double quotes here? So I am going to answer all these questions. So focus on me. Okay. Now we have a statement here. Suppose you have a string, this, you have a text, this is Sally's, this is Sally's car. Okay, you have a textual data, this is Sally's car. You want to represent it as a string object in Python. Okay, so you are going to use a single quote. Suppose you want to use a single quotes to represent this, but there is a problem with this approach. This single quotation mark, the Python interpreter, when it would see this object, it would check where is the ending or the closing quote of this. Then it would read it, this is Sally's, and it would find a apostrophe s, and it would think that this is the closing quote. But in our case, this is just a apostrophe s, that is the textual part. Okay, so this would give an error. This would give an error. See, syntax error, unterminated string literal. So it would not be able to print it. It would give you a syntax error. So for printing this, you have to use string or character escaping, and to use character escaping, you have to put a backslash here. So whenever this backslash you use, you escape a character. So here we are escaping a character which is quotes which is a single quote or which is a apostrophe s, okay, apostrophe symbol. Now when Python reads this and it encounters this backspace character, it would know that this is a escape character, and it would understand that this is not the closing quote, and it would escape this, and it would go to the car and it would find this last closing quote, and you can then print it. You can then print this without any issue. So this is Sally's car. You can see it now. See, the other way to print it without using the escaping character is using the double quotation marks. So here the usage of double quotation mark is clear. Python, you don't have to escape this character here because you are using the double quotation mark, and Python would find that here is the double quotation, double quotes, then the textual data, it would encounter this single quotation mark, but you are using the double quote, so it would not think that it is the closing quote of your, it is the closing quote, okay, and it would then go to the car and it would find finally the ending or closing quote, okay. So like this you can use the double quotation marks. You don't have to escape the apostrophe. Now there is one more case where you have to print something like this, like me, I am creating a sentence, Vivek said, and then in double quotation marks, Python is a very beginner friendly language, okay, double quotation. Now there sometimes in the textual data you get double quotes inside the textual data, okay. So what happens in such situations? In such situation you would have to escape these quotes like this, okay, then you can print it. So in such situations where the text data itself contains the double quotation marks, you have to escape both these quotes to print this, okay, to get the output of this. So after doing this you would get the output of this, okay. The other way without escaping it is using the single quotation marks. So here I am copying it, okay, I am copying this, and now we are using the single quotation marks. Now we are using the single quotation marks, okay. So we don't have to escape this because Python would see the single quotes and it would try to find the ending or closing single quote. So if it encounters this double quote, it would think that it is the part of the text. So this is how we choose when to use the double quote and when to use the single quote. So if your textual data contains some double quotation marks inside it, then you have to use a single quote, or you can use a character escaping with the backslash, okay. Now I am going to recap this again. So in Python you can represent a textual data as a string, okay, as an object of a string class, okay. Python has a string class that is especially designed for representing textual data, okay. So within the single quotation marks, if you put within the single quotes, if you put some text, it would be a string object in Python, okay, it would be a string object in Python. You can also use the double quotes So double quote here, double quote here, you can use the double quotes also. Okay, that would also make your textual data as a string object in Python. Otherwise, if you have data or textual information that is spanning multiple lines, then you can use the triple quotation marks. Okay, then you can use the triple quotation marks on both sides. Triple quotation marks here, triple quotation marks here. So I hope it is clear to how to use the double quotation and the single quotation and the triple quotation marks and why we are using them. I hope it is clear. Okay, now a string object in Python can be a single character. So suppose for example a can be h. Okay, this h is a string object. Okay, it is a single character, or it can have multiple characters, like my name is Vivek. So it can have multiple characters or it can have a single character. Both would be considered as string object in Python if they are between the quotes, single quote, double quote or triple quote. All of them would be considered as string object in Python. Okay, so with this string object you get some methods or functionality that you can use to get some information about your string object. So one such functionality or method is len. So you can use the len of a. Okay, len function is an inbuilt function and it gives you the length of collections in Python. So if you want to get the length of some collection is a group of objects. Okay, if you want to get the length of some collection, you can use the len function, then within the parenthesis, this round bracket, you can put the object. Okay, here string object is one sort of a collection of letters. Okay, so you can get the length of the string object by the len function. Now one important thing to consider, Python would also count this space. So this space is also a character in the programming languages. So this space is also a character. So if you are counting the length of this whole string object, the space would also be counted. So len of a is 17. Now we can count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 and this dot 17. So length of a or len function, and in bracket in parenthesis a would give you the length of the string object here. So this is 17 here. Now I am going to show you two more examples of this. So focus on this. Okay, a is hello. Okay, now the length of a in parenthesis would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So len of a would be 5. Okay, this len function is giving you the length of this string object. It is an inbuilt function in Python that gives you the length of the collection. Okay, so I hope you are understanding it. A equals to hello world. Okay, so len of a would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it would be 11. So len of A would be 11 for hello world. Okay. Is the Python is also counting this space as a character. So you have to remember this in mind. Okay. Now let me open a new cell. So let me open a new cell here. Let me open it. Let me put it here side by side. Okay. So now A is suppose apple. So we have put apple here. Okay. Now this apple is a collection of letters. This string object is a collection of letters. To know that this is a string object, you can do type of, inside the type you can put the variable or the identifier that refers to that string object. Okay. Class string. So class str, it is showing that this is a string object. Okay. Now a string is a collection of letters. A string object is it can be a single character or can be a collection of letters. Okay. So Python gives you indexing and slicing operations for collections. Okay. So you can access the individual characters of this string using indexing. Okay. Indexing. So we can access this A, this P, L and E. We can access all these characters separately in Python. Python gives us the ability to do this. Okay. So the syntax of doing that, the syntax of accessing these items is, first of all you should understand that whenever you create a string object, the first letter of it is at the 0th index. Indexes start in Python from 0. So this first letter is at the 0th index. Then the second letter is at the 1st index. Then the second index. Then the third index. And then the 4th index. So if there are 5 characters, the indexes would range from 0 to 4. Okay. Not 5. Indexes start from 0. So if there is a 5 character string like this, the indexes would start from 0 and the last index here would be 4. There is one more rule which I am going to tell you, but see this first. So the syntax of indexing I am showing you. First the name of the variable A, then a square bracket. In the square bracket you can put the index that you want to see, that you want to output. Okay, A, and I am going to output the value at the index 0 of this collection. So A0 is A, so this A we got. Okay, then we can take out this first. So the value at the first index, which is P. So the syntax you can see, focus on it. A square bracket 2 for the second index, this would also be P. Then we can also take out the third index, it would be L, and fourth index, that is the last index here, it is E. So we can access the individual items using indexing in Python. So remember this, using indexing can be used on collections. Okay, whenever you get a collection where there is some number of elements or group of elements, you can use indexing on it. So on the string data type, here you can see there is a collection of letters, so we can use the indexing. Indexes start from 0 and it goes to the last letter and you can count them. Okay, 0 1 2 3 4 in this case. Okay, now one important concept, string class, string object is immutable in Python. Okay, so what is immutable? That is a question. I am going to answer that. Focus on me. Immutable is where you can't modify the object. So A is apple. Suppose A is apple. Now this, putting this inside the single quotation marks, it made it a string object in Python. Okay, it made it a string object in Python. Now you can't modify this string object. Immutability is a thing that if something is immutable, you can't modify it. Okay, you can't modify or change it. If you try to change it, you would have to create a new string object, but you can't change it or you can't modify it. Okay, so strings in Python are immutable. Okay, you have to take a note of this in mind. Strings in Python are immutable. Okay, after this you can see. Now let me prove this to you. Strings in Python are immutable. So this is the first character of this string, A at the zeroth index of the A object. If we assign it to, suppose, P, okay, so it would throw an error, type error. str object does not support item assignment. So what I said, string is a immutable object. You can't change its character, or you can't change or modify it at all. Okay, so here I tried to modify the first character that is present in this string and I got a type error. So Python strictly throws a type error if you try to assign the index of some string object to some other string. Okay, you can't modify the string object directly. You can't modify it. It is a immutable object. Okay, this is an important concept. Have this in mind. Now A is apple. So likewise the indexes here start from 0. There is one more concept where the indexes from the last element, the index is -1. So here it is 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, if you go from the front to the back of the screen, from the front to the last portion of the string, the indexes are in positive sequence. Okay, 0 1 2 3 4 or like that. Okay, if you take from the last, so if you take from the last, suppose if you want to access the element from the last, Python gives you an intuitive way to do that. It has negative indexing as well. For the last element it has a -1 index. So you can access the last element by naming by the name of variable, then the square bracket, and then the negative index value. So this last element has a negative index and it is -1. Okay, it is -1, -1. So if you try to access it, you can access the last element. The second last element can be accessed by -2. The third last element can be accessed by -3. The fourth last element can be accessed by -4. The fifth last element can be accessed by, so there is no fifth element here. Okay, so you can see that string index out of range, so index error. So you can, likewise I told you that this object starts from the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is no character at the fifth index. Here we tried to access the fifth index. So Python started to check, this is the 0, this is the 1, this is the second index, this third index, fourth index, and when it tried to check the fifth index, it found that there is no fifth index in our object. So it threw a index error, string index out of range. So whenever you try to access some index that is not present in your string object, you would get an index error. Okay, you would get an index error at that time. Okay, so you can't access an element that, or you can't access an index that is not present in your string object. Keep in mind. Now here, through negative indexing, we have to take this A. So it is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So -5 would give us this first element. So if you go from the front, you can use the positive indexing and it starts from 0. Okay, I am recapping it. Keep the focus on me. So you can use 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if you start from the backwards, you can use the negative indexing which starts from -1 for the last element. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, you can access the elements like this. This indexing is applicable on collections only. Collections are groups of elements, okay, groups of items. String object is a collection of characters. Okay, have this in mind. So this applies on collection, indexing applies on collection. Okay, now put it here. I am going to open a new IDLE, and here let me put it to the side. Let me put it to the side, and see, now we are going to do slicing. So this is the indexing where we accessed the elements of the collection, string object collection, by indexes. Now we are going to use the slicing operator. So we are going to take the string apple. Okay, now for slicing, so like indexing, we were accessing one element at a time using the index. Okay, in slicing we can take out, or we can access multiple characters of the string object at single time in one operation. Let me show you. So this, suppose we have a string object apple. Okay, this is the apple object, and here this is the string object apple. Okay, it has the value apple inside it, and this A is at the 0th index, this P is at the first index, this other P is at the second index. Suppose we want A double P from this. We want to take out the first 3 characters of this string object. Okay, then the syntax of this is like A, then a square bracket, then opening a square bracket, and then a start index. Okay, from where do you want to access the value from? So start index is 0 in our case because we want the first element. We are accessing from the first element, so it is 0 in our case, and we want to access the up to this element. So 0 1 2. So if we put 2 here, we would not be getting the correct result, because in slicing this value, this is the stop value, this value is the stop value, and it is excluded. So if you want to access to the third character in this string object, you have to put 3 here. Okay, so from 0 a, then it would go to 1, which is p, then it would go to p, which is at the second index, and so here like 0 1 2 and the third. So last 3 it would not take. 0 1 2, up to 2 it would output. So the syntax of slicing is a, the name of the variable, name, it's like variable name, then square bracket, then a start index, then a stop index, and then closing square bracket. So this stop index is excluded, stop index is excluded. Okay, so this Python is not considering this stop index. Okay, it would take the index, it would take one index before it. Okay, stop index is excluded here. Keep in mind that this is an important thing, you have to keep this in mind, it is very important. So this is like a rule. Suppose we want to take this PLE from this string object, so name of the variable, then square bracket, then start. Here the start would be 0 1 and 2, from 2 the second character we want, and then up to the last element. So PLE, so 2 3 4, and we can, if you are there is a rule, if you are trying to access to the last element, you can omit this value, you can omit this index, stop index value, and it would work. Okay, it would work because you are trying to access till the last element. Python would see that here is the start index, then it would see the it would see the colon, and if then it would see that there is no value for the stop index, so it would automatically take up to the last element. Okay, so it would give you PLE. And if you mention some index like 5, the fifth index is not here, but it would not throw any error. Python would handle it and it would not throw any error. But a good way, if you want to access from somewhere from the middle to the end of the string, you just have to give the start index. So this is slicing. Let me show you one more example. So Python is a beginner friendly language. Okay, we have to do the string object slicing, and we have to take this Python out from this. Okay, so this P is at the 0th index, 0 1, so 0 would be the start index, and this n we have to find. So 0 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. For the stop index we have to choose 6 because stop index is excluded. Okay, so a start index we have to put 0 here, stop index is 6. So you can see we have accessed this first word. So this is string slicing. There is one more way to do this. I told you that Python supports negative indexes on collections. So by using negative indexes you can access the collection items. Okay, so you can do the slicing by using negative indexing also. So here if you want to do a slicing, suppose you want to take this language out from here, so it is the dot is at the -1, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9 and -10. So the start index would be -1. Okay, and the end index would be -10. But here if you try to do this, you would not get the slice, because there is one more thing that you need to put in this. There is a step character in this also. So let me show you. There is a step character in this. There is a step value in this also. So it is start, stop and then step. So by default the step value is 1. So when you tried to access -1 to -10, the step value by default, for the step value you have to put a colon again and then the step value. By default the step value is -1. So what happened? From -1 we subtracted 1, which is 0. So the step value is the step value by default is 1. To print this you have to access -1, -2, -3, -4, something like this you want to access, and up to -10. So you have to put a -1 step value here, then you would be able to take this out. But as we are taking from the last portion, the dot is at the first, then you can see this string language is reversed. Okay, so this is a little bit advanced. Let me show you on a very simple example. First with the positive indexes only. So Python is a beginner friendly language. Okay, so this is the string object here. Then we are going to access Python. Okay, I am going to show you the step property in this also. So start would be at 0. Okay, and stop would be at 6. So when you do this you get Python. Now I am going to put the step also in this. So 0, 6 and the default step is 1. So it is taking every single character. Okay, when you are slicing, the default step property is 1. Have this in mind. If you do it 2, it would take every second character. So it C first, second, so it would take this character. After that it would not take H and it would take O. After that N, and there is no character after that. Okay, so PTO. If you do A, start is 0, 6, and step is 3, it would only take H. Okay, P, then 1, 2, 2 characters it is, including this character it would do. Okay, 3 steps means including this character. So P, Y, T, then H. So H, after that O and N, then there is no other character, so P and H would be there. So default step value is 1, and you can change that step value also if you want to skip some characters while slicing. So this is the slicing in Python. Okay, now we checked indexing and slicing. Now there are more things that we can do in Python, a lot more things. So I am going to put this IDLE here. I am going to put this IDLE here, and I am going to show you 1 or 2 more slicing tricks. Okay, so have focus on me, have your focus on me. I am going to show you slicing tricks here. So suppose you have a string apple, so okay, apple, and you want to print from opposite direction, so you want to reverse the string object. So here you have apple and you want to print from the negative index, okay, from the last element. So A, and you can start from the last element, -1. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So clearly you can see that the step here is -1, as the first element is at -1th index, second element is at -2 index. So the step here is in -1. Okay, so we are taking E, then it is at -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So -5, and the step value is -1. Okay, so let me check, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So why it is only taking up to PP, ELPP? Because it should be -6 here. The last index is excluded. Okay, now it would take up to the last, and you can see that this is the reversed string in Python. Okay, a shorter way to do this is not mentioning the starting value and the stopping value and giving only a -1 step. So Python would understand that by the step, Python would understand that this is at -1, so I have to take the values from the end, and it would see that there is no stop index, so it would know that it has to give the value up till the last index. Okay, so -1 and up to the -6th index it would give you the value. So it is this. Okay, let me show you one more example so that it would get clear. So see, A is C papaya. Okay, it is papaya. Now we are going to take from the last index, so it is -1. So either you can do the slicing by giving all the start, stop and step. Okay, so we are doing it here, -1, and we want to take up to the last part here. So what I told you, if you don't put the stop index, Python would automatically know that you want up till the last element of the collection, and then you have to do a -1. That is a mandatory step in this, because otherwise Python would take the step as 1 and you would not get the correct result. So because if step is 1, then positive index, it would move to the positive index, Python would not output the correct result. So here you want from -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. Okay, so the step is in minus. Okay, if the step is negative here, so you can see PA. So this is the way to do this. So in this session I explained to you some of the concepts related to the strings. In the next session or in the coming sessions, I would elaborate this topic more. I would tell you about the different methods that you have for the string class in Python. So subscribe my channel on YouTube, like this video if you haven't done so far, if you haven't liked this so far. Okay, and this would be a very good channel, and I would be posting a lot more videos on the programming concepts, and from the grassroots level I would tell you exactly all things. So subscribe, and I would meet you in the next session.